We need some set deck, you know? So last year I threw a pop-up and I made this dish. I kind of wanted to do something a little fun, weird, different, cheeky, kind of all the above. Kind of summarizes my way of cooking. A lot of you guys seem to really like it. It was super dope getting to like hang out and meet you guys in person. So I figured today we kind of go back in time, go over it, and I'd show you how I make it. So here we have our beef for our baof. You can use a couple different kinds of cuts to do this. My favorite is brisket. You could use chuck, you could use short rib or anything like that, shred it apart, but I like brisket because we can get nice slices with them. It starts with a whole packer brisket, right? I basically trimmed the fat off of that, still leaving some fat on because remember, fat is flavor, and we're gonna use it later. I'll show you a little trick. Then I separated the flat from the fatty point. You don't have to do this, but I like doing it because one, it can fit in the sous vide bath, and two, I like having the fatty versus the lean side separated. After that, I went ahead and rubbed it with this homemade Italian spice blend here. I'll have the recipe in the description for you here. It's the same spicy Italian spice blend that I use in all my videos. I rubbed that all over with a little bit of salt too, of course. This does not have salt in it because I like to be able to control that salt. Then I bagged her up, set it in the water bath at 185 for 24 hours. And this is what we have. Ooh, look at that jelly, dude. You can tell here, this is our point, right? This is the fatty side. We like the fatty side. Then we have our flat, the lean side. And then we have all of this actual spiced beef tallow. It's orange because, you know, it's spiced with that Italian beef. So we're gonna take all of that out and set it aside and work with it a little later. This is our beef fat, look at that. Gorgeous. We're gonna pop this in a strainer, a chinois. Look at that gelatinous goo. It's gonna be perfect for our boofs. Later on, we'll use this for our dipping sauce. Which knife should I use? Ooh, you know what? This is a great opportunity to use the big boy. I literally helped make this knife. Got a video on that too. We want our beef to be able to fit into our bao, so it's really easy to do with the flat. It's basically bao sized once you cut it in half. Gorgeous. And that's lean side, right? Look how there's not a lot of fat in there. It's all up top, which is why it's important to leave some of that fat on the top. From here, we slice. I like 1/3 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch slices. There are so many ways to make a tough cut of beef tender and delicious. Could you braise this in a regular pan in the oven, low and slow until it's tender? Absolutely. The one thing I recommend doing, no matter how you get it done, is letting it chill for at least a couple hours in the fridge so that it's easier to slice. Because if you cut into a soft brisket, it's gonna shred on you and get all kind of like tough, and we want our nice little uniform pieces like this for our bao. Many ways to get it done. So now we're gonna pop this in a low oven, 150, 200 degrees. Don't go above 200 degrees, just to kind of warm these through, get them all gelatinous and beautiful. And then by the time we're done with everything else, these will be ready to go. I need pea towel, I need my pea towel.
Were you interested?
I think like borderline. It's like there's a certain definition, I don't think I hit the mark on it. I don't think I'm art kid enough for it. But I definitely had some aspects of my personality are.
What were you doing in like 2012? What was your vibe?
Weed. Next up, we have the crunchy component of the baof. We have our garlic. We're gonna make garlic chips by frying them off and essentially making a flavorful garlic oil at the same time. When I did this for the pop-up, I went to my Asian market and I bought a bunch of like crisp garlic granules, if you will. Not quite granulated garlic, but like fried pieces of garlic, which you can totally do. They look great, they're perfect. It's a lot easier on your workload. But when you're doing this at the crib and you're doing it for like your friends or your family or whatever, I do like making these garlic chips because you get an amazing oil from them as well. So let's cut some garlic. Ooh, that's a piece of mold. Don't want that one. Cutting garlic can be kind of a pain in the ass.
Paulie did the prep work.
Especially when you're trying to make all of your pieces uniform. So what I have here is a little truffle slicer. I think this is back when I was a private chef. I think I bought like $200-300 worth of truffles for like a dinner or something. And I figured, you know, it's an extra 15 bucks. I bought all these truffles, why not? I probably even haven't used them for truffles since buying it. I use it for garlic. So it's basically just a mandolin that's like super thin and fine and is perfect for slicing garlic in uniform pieces. I know a lot of cooks with a lot of ninja-like knife skills.
He was doing a year for contempt and he had this wonderful system for doing the garlic.
But none of them can get garlic this consistent. Look at that, that's gonna fry beautifully. And it's important that you get them to the same consistency because when we fry them, you don't want the thicker ones to take more time to cook than the thinner ones because the thinner ones will burn And if you've ever had burnt garlic before, there's really no going back. You kind of just gotta throw it away and start over. We have our slices. We gotta pop them in the oil now. You don't need to use a lot of oil unless, of course, you wanna make a lot of garlic oil just to have on hand, which is never a bad idea. So you could use your garlic oil in a vinaigrette, throw it in a marinade. You can baste something with to finish soups, like a cold gazpacho. Making like a savory oatmeal or a granola. Don't feed it to whales. She took all my money and punched my dad in the face. And that's why garlic and independent voters don't really mix. There's one way that I left out, but we're gonna touch on that in a second. All right, garlic in. This does not take long. Oh, you can already smell it. It's crazy aromatic. You want to take this to maybe a geriatric camel color, like an older camel, not a young camel. Garlic chips finished. We're gonna set these aside so we need them. Let this oil cool down somewhere, you know, not on the burner, and we're gonna use it later. Pepes. So if you've never heard of an Italian beef sandwich, what the f is wrong with you? Basically what it consists of is the bread, the beef, and a couple different kinds of peppers, the sweet and the hot. These are the sweet. This little guy. And the sweet. He needs to feed. To the biddy. Go to the biddy. We're just gonna pop a little bit of olive oil over the top. Pinch of kosher. These are gonna go into a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. We're just gonna watch them. Every good sandwich or little bao sandwich needs a good sauce. So for that, we're gonna make a Giardeniera Aioli. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Giardiniera is a pickled Italian pepper mix that's super popular here in Chicago. You can order it online. I will leave a link for you below. This stuff is preserved in olive oil and it's very flavorful. So we're gonna take that and use it to emulsify our mayonnaise. And I do want some Giardiniera as well.
That is so smart.
I'm a smart guy. All right, like any mayonnaise in the blender, we gotta start with our liquid base, which is some vinegar, little white wine vinegar. Boop. Exactly whatever measurement I said in the recipe. Recipe's below. You gotta cook with your heart sometimes, you know? A little bit of shugs to balance out that kind of like sourness and that spice. Oof. A little bit of sweet paprika, just for color, and because I just like the way it tastes. Pinch of salt, we can add more later if we need it. And you already know, the GP, just a little pinch. I'm also gonna add in just a dash of water, help with the emulsification. Now, I'm gonna add in our drained Giardiniera vegetables. There's a lot of water in these, so. Now we can start adding our fats in. We're gonna use this Giardiniera oil and our garlic oil. And I almost forgot, but we are going to add some of our spiced beef tallow in to help emulsify things as well. The bubble. Love the bubble. Baos. If there's anything that I've learned from the past 5 years of doing this and 5+ years of cooking, it's that it's not always worth it to cook stuff from scratch. I've made bao buns a handful of times, and I'll tell you right now, I've never gotten them to be as good as these frozen ones. If you live by an Asian market, look in the frozen section. They're probably gonna have these. If you don't live by an Asian market, there's plenty of great recipes on the internet. Google it. You're gonna find like 3 million, and they're all pretty good. Sometimes they're made with flour, sometimes they're made with rice flour. It just depends. We're gonna use the frozen stuff today. Be careful when you're doing this, steam burns below. Ow, ow, ow. That feels great. Dude, it's like the best part of the inside of Wonder Bread. And look at these, I mean, these are perfect. Yeah, if you make these from scratch, you're kind of playing yourself. But if you've never made them before, I also encourage that. Trying new things is how you learn to cook and become a better cook. So cool, let's build. So we got our wonderful pillowy soft bao, the Italian Baof, the Giardeniera Aioli, the jus from the Italian Baof, crispy garlic chips, sweet bell peppers, Jesus Christ.
That was a serious malfunction.
And spicy, crunchy giardiniera. All we gotta do now is put it together. I'm gonna put a little bit of our Giardeniera Aioli. Plenty of sauce, I like it a little saucy. We're gonna take one of our beautiful pieces here. I like a fattier cut, so we're gonna do that. A little bit of pep, a little more drained, crunchy giardiniera, and to finish off, our crispy garlic chips. That is our Italian Baof. Look at this bad boy. Ugh. Ugh. Take that hot tub. Only one thing left to do now. I mean, that thing is crazy. This thing is everything that an Italian beef is and then some, because we got that aioli on it, right? It's kind of got that creamy mayonnaise vibe. Just like an Italian beef, the bread is very soft, but then we have the crunch from the garlic chips. The beef isn't usually this fatty on an Italian beef. Usually it's top round. It's very lean. Brisket, not very lean. So we love that. Lots of flavor, lots of unctuousness. The vegetables from the giardiniera, which have been drained of their oil and are just straight up crunchy pickles, essentially, on the sandwich, which kind of help wake it up. Oh. That's all I got for you this episode. If you like Italian beef, you like Italian Baof, like the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and join Zipate. If you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Best way to support us is on Patreon. If you contribute to the grocery fund, you directly help us make these videos. If you can't financially support, totally fine too, no worries. Come say what up in Discord. We're chilling, we chatting, we're kicking it. Oh wait, we have to feed our little boy. What do you think? Peace.